Hey there everyone, Luke here. Now, since last week, there's been a massive change in my family. Um, uh, so, if you remember these two, yeah, that are sadly no longer with us. Well, as the old saying goes, one journey ends, another beginning. And I know we said that we would be getting a cat, and we'd be getting a new one, and I'd be the one adopting them. Well, it happened. Say hello to Gem Cat. Now, with her, even though we were scouring looking for a boy cat, when I found her on Facebook and when I went to the shelter to get her, I knew she had to be the one. Uh, she was so friendly, so welcoming when I was in the shelter. I mean, she sat on my lap. I think at that point when the cat is sitting on your lap and giving you headbutts, I think it's actually saying like, you are the one, you are the one. So she was the one that we went with. Domestic, semi long haired, tortoiseshell cat. So we absolutely adore her, and it was pretty much exactly how it happened with I and Mission Yozakura family, where when she first came, she was very shy until Tayo and Mitsumi kind of got her to be those parent figures. Same exact thing with Gem. When she first came here, absolutely shy, but over the course of the week that we've had her, we've only had her since Wednesday, so it's been less than a week. Really come out of her shell, for lack of a better word, and so friendly, so affectionate, and started following me around. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that we got a winner with her. So hopefully soon, I'll be able to have her in some videos like I did with Poppy. Not so much with Maisie, because Maisie was my brother's cat. But yeah, Gem is most certainly my cat. I mean, obviously the whole family loves her, but in terms of the person who actually adopts her, yeah, she was my cat. So I thought I'd make that announcement, because that's the biggest change, and it's going to be massive change from now on. But business as usual, let's get right into the Yozakura chapter. Oh, and in case you're wondering, like with Dr. Stone, apparently I was a little bit of a fool and didn't realise like they're going to be spread out chapters. So the next chapter of Dr. Stone won't be out until the middle of December, which, now that I think about it, that does make sense. And I'd be happy personally if we got like a chapter of Dr. Stone, say, every 3 months from now on. But that's besides the point. So anyway, not talking about Dr. Stone, we're talking about Mission Yozakura. So this is chapter 202, titled Mozu, Ryu, and Asa. So it is very apparent in this chapter that yeah, we are moving on. We're moving kind of into the starting phases of the introduction to into the final stages of the Asa saga. So like how we had the Tampopo saga, then we had the Momo saga, and now we're pretty much in the main meat slash final portions of the Asa saga. So anyway, the chapter starts off with a color page. Pretty okay color page. Not one of my favorites. It just shows Shinzo and Nanano in their post-time skip designs. I mean, it's pretty cool, but again, not really one of my favourites. It's standard when it comes to Yozakura colour pages. But anyway, the chapter starts off fully from pretty much the end of the last chapter, where we have Nanano using the jolly slang thing to be like, oh, we'll just have to ask Mozu directly, and targeting her as she's taking Ryu away from everyone, because they have no idea what Ryu is thinking or why he's actually going along with this. So basically what Nanano does is that he charges up like the slime, so it's kind of like in a bowl, so it's, and then immediately just bashes it into the floor so that it's literally travelling like a current of being like, you will not escape me, Dr. Mozu. And Mozu like knows about this, like she can see it coming after her, and she's like, yeah, he's following the bits of my nerves he can sense. I figured I wouldn't be able to get away carrying someone. Yeah, you kind of really shot yourself in the foot here with Mozu, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get Ryu and I'm gonna stop here. Yeah, I'm not really gonna concentrate on Nano. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, maybe he might have something that can counter this. Yeah, probably not, but no. Nano basically was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna get you right now. So you even have a choice: you either get captured or we're gonna capture you anyway. As Mosu goes on and says, Rio, I'll stay behind. You keep going. When you see Asa, tell him I can get there just by myself. So what Mosu does here is just basically like, okay, I'm trucking Ryu to where Asa is, so that if anyone's gonna escape, it's gonna be Ryu. And then at this point we have Mosu basically being like, oh crap, I've been captured. I'm basically being pulled back to Nano and everyone here. As Nano says, when it comes to slime transformation, I have more experience than her, both when using it and catching while using it. So yeah, experience trumps all. Like, you could be like, I'm the strongest person in the world, I'm the best, I cannot be defeated. But if you don't have the experience to back that up, yeah, that is just bolster incarnate. So after Nano grabs Mozu and basically it's just like, okay, grab her now, pull her out of the ground. He's like, oh, hi there, Mozu. It's been a while. Are you still doing tasteless experiments on yourself since the last time I saw you? And Mozu tries to like blackmail, tries to like BS her way out of this. Of just be like, no, I missed you so much. You got a second? I want to ask you something important. Let me dissect you again, just one more time. So Mosu is basically just being like, okay, I'm in trouble right now. I've got to do something. Think of what Nano would want. Think of what Nano will. Hey, do you want me to dissect on you once again? And Nano's just like, no. You could just see Nano being like, you're really asking me that at this time right now? Really? You really think I'm going to let you do that again? And Mosu again is just trying to use fluff to kind of be like, yeah, can I get out of here at some point? And she's just like, oh come on, why not? Just a few quick slices with a scalpel. Only do it a little. And Niall's just like, you better shut up right now, or I'm going to shut that mouth for you. And again, Mosu like, just stop here, because she continues on by saying, why am I the only one who analysed your body down to the last cell? You owe me for this. How come you're being so cold all of a sudden? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you joined the mortal enemy of the Yozakura family. More than like, was the one who pretty much had Nano strapped to a laboratory experiment in a different country far away, to the point that his brother and his niece and nephew had to come and bail him out. So yeah, I can't imagine why Nano would be so cold to you right now, Mosu. And yeah, Nano even basically says it, yeah, you didn't analyse me to help me, you did it because you thought it'd be useful for your own research, probably to benefit Asa as well. And they go and say, research, I might add, that has one major theme, resurrection. So, this might actually come into play later with the other heads of the Yozakura family, because of the fact that they're talking about resurrection. Yeah, and the Yozakura family is basically a tree. Yeah, see what I'm doing here, but that's besides the point. We don't know whether the heads are actually going to come back and actually get a proper fight. We're actually going to see what they're actually capable of. Because what Creature did was basically what happened in Bleach with the Serial Squad, and we all know how well that turned out. So maybe, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that we can actually get proper fights with the heads, with this revelation here of the fact that Mosu was using research to get this whole idea of resurrection. And Nano goes on and says, you thought you could use the Yozakura's family's powers to advance your research. That's why you used me before. I bet that's why you're using us now. Okay, so yeah, not really working for Asa, kind of like being a double cross, but at the same time on Asa's side pretty much. And as Nano continues and finishes off by saying, "For an egotist like you, the only reason you'd associate with others is personal gain." And Mozu just basically just doesn't do anything to deny this. She's just being like, so you figured it out, whoopty do. Nano is at this point is just baiting Mozu into confessing of just being like, "Oh no, you used all of this to bait Ryu. He didn't join of his own accord. Like, come on, we all know that, and we all know Ryu wouldn't do something like this." But this where Mozu throws a big bombshell. It's like, "Oh, you really think Ryu was tempted by this bait? No, he joined entirely of his own accord. So yeah, we do actually get the reason why he did this, and it does also tie back into the whole resurrection side of things. But yeah, for Ryu to join of his own accord, it really just screams like, "Oh crap, we need another opponent to fight the Yozakura so that it can show off the true Spring Bruins. Let's pick Ryu." So anyway, we finally catch up with Ryu and find out exactly where he ended up as we see the short little subordinate of Asa from last week, which we get to see all of them. Like, I actually thought we weren't going to actually see this, because normally when we have a group like this, like all in silhouette shadowy figures, I wonder who they could be, and like what their powers are, what their personalities like, who they are, like how are they all connected. But no, we actually get in this. We don't get that until chapters later. I guess because it's in the final stages, we don't have time to do stuff like that. But at the same time, it is kind of cool that we're actually getting this now. So it's like, rather than keeping us in the dark, they're just being like, "Oh no, here are the subordinates of Asa," and something else interesting that we've got coming up here as well. But before that, we've got to introduce this like little tiny one here, which I get the impression that they may be short and tiny right now, but like with Goliath, they can turn into a big muscular beast, which makes me think that Goliath, Hifumi, and Alpha are the ones going to be fighting this opponent, which they call themselves Yo. So great, this is great. Now I have Dr. Stone and Mission Yozakura with a character called Yo in it. Oh my god. Mind you, this I don't want to say it's a kid, because you have no idea, but this person Yo from Mission Yozakura versus Yo from Dr. Stone. Yo from Dr. Stone is probably getting his ass kicked by this person. No disrespect to Yo fans, but let's be honest, Yo using a gun has about as much accuracy in his range as a stormtrooper from Star Wars. Even though he was technically meant to be a cop, he wasn't a really good cop when you really think about it. But yeah, so the person's here is called Yo, and they're just like, "Oh, you're all right. Oh, you've arrived. Oh, you've got jelly on you. Oh, gotta wipe you down, and everything." And Ryu is just there, like being like confused, just like, "What's going on here? Where am I? Who's here? Like what?" And Yo is just like, "Oh, it's a sign of friendship here. Yeah, sign of friendship. So come on, I've got some candy here. Would you like that?" And we have Asa basically saying, and even though Asa is dressed like relatively normally here, yeah, he is still terrifying as hell to look at. I don't know what it is about Asa. It's just those blank, emotionless eyes that are just like. That just freaks me out somewhat. But yeah, we have Asa saying to Yo, like, "Come on, calm down. We're gonna have dinner now. You'll ruin your appetite if you eat candy." And we have Yo calling Asa daddy. Now, whether or not this is in connection to whether or not this means that these are the distant relatives of the Yozakuras that I've always wanted, that I've always wondered about the series, or whether or not they're like with like what Momo called his brothers and sisters, whether they're genetically alternative people that just so happen to call Asa Daddy because he's the one who created them, in a sense. Like he says, I am the creator of the Yozakura family. Although, now that I think about it, this might be the case of like they are the distant relatives of the Yozakura family, and like I said, we might be getting they might even be connected to the other heads of the Yozakura family, but that's something for later. Now we gotta focus on them. So we have Yo being like, "Yay, Curry, I'm coming, Daddy," as Asa formally introduces himself, of being like, "Hey, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You don't need to worry about Dr. Mosu. I am Asa. I made curry as a welcoming dinner for you. If you haven't eaten yet, have some." But I love the reaction from Ryo, because he's just like, "Where am I?" And then just seeing Asa right there. Yeah, there's this one little panel where you have Ryu's eyes just basically being like, just like the lines in his eyes are just being like, I'm getting involved in something that I don't really want to be a part of here. So yeah, I feel like even Ryu knows just how scary Asa truly is. So as Ryu just settles down at the table, feeling like just like the most awkward, scared person of the week, just being like, I don't really want to be there. He's just like, okay, I guess I'll try some of the curry, and then immediately he's just like, oh my god, this is one of the best things I've ever had. Oh, what a surprise! I never expected these people to actually be like nice, quote unquote. But the person with the bat wings on their back are just like, yeah, right, Dad makes the best curry in the world. I experimented with it when curry powder first became popular in the Meiji era. Okay, so when curry powder, I got rather into experimenting with it when curry powder first became popular in the Meiji area. Okay, so whether or not these people are immortal, like Asa, like they are legitimately immortal members of the Yozakura family, or like this is just making me so confused right now, but I love it anyway. And we have the cat person just being like, just acting legitimately like a cat person, which is nice that I got Gem this week, because yeah, Gem was a bit like, I'm not really sure about these people. I mean, she was sure about me for a start, but then like when she got to South, she's like, yeah, I'm not really sure about these people. But yeah, after a while she came around to them. So yeah, I do love that, because that is a very cat-like reaction from them, as Ryu's just like, do you want something? As the cat person is just like, oh, I'm just surprised that you actually ate. I mean, it's food from some freaky guy you've never met before. Yeah, this is like the proper reaction you should have. Like, you've eaten curry from a guy you've never met before. You've called it tasty. It didn't occur to you that it could have been poisoned, and we have the other person, like who has like bangs under it. So he has one eye uncovered, and then the other eye is just covered by it with his bangs, as he calls the cat person Ni. So we have Yo, Ni. Not sure what the person with the bat wings is called yet, but we'll find out obviously in a bit. As we have this other person going on who's called Kasu. So we have Ni, Yo, Kasu, and come on, oh yeah, we we have Mitsu. Wait. Yeah. So we have. So the person with the bat wings I've just looked down is called Mitsu. So we have Mitsu, Kazu, Yo, and Ni. And those are the subordinates of Asa, and obviously Ryu and Mozu. So yeah, the 6 subordinates that are obviously going to fight the 6 members of the Yozakura family. But yeah, carrying on, we have Kazu saying, we helped him get out of his old organisation. Why would we bother to poison him? Yeah, so yeah, that is a legitimate query. Like, you've just basically gotten someone out of the old organisation to join your organisation. Why would you poison them? As he goes on and says, he's the editor-chief of the industry's biggest magazine. He's not stupid or a chicken, before we have Asa saying, Kazu, could you at least try and be a try a bite? I added a big piece of your favorite potatoes. But we have Kazu saying like, oh, don't talk to me. You'll make this new soggy. So I love the fact that this makeshift family is kind of like a real family at times, like just basically bickering with each other, as we have Mitsu going like, Kazu, try to be nice to Dad for once, but Kazu's just like, oh, shut up, Mitsu, you're sour the bomb. And then they're just like, oh, now you die. If you have to kill anyone, let's kill Dad. And we have someone saying like, oh, just quit it already. Before we have Asa saying to Ryu that he has a question, and yet again, Asa, you are freaking me out with these stairs. But the question that Asa asks Ryu of just being like, oh, you were close with the Yozakura family. Why leave them to join me when I could be considered an enemy? And Ryu, you can obviously tell the guilt that's on his face right now. Like, he clearly didn't want to do it, but based on what he says and what his answer is, he felt obviously like he had no choice, because it's not just for the benefit of him, it's for the benefit of Katana, of having her have a really good life as well. Before we have Asa going on and saying like, no, we have Ryu saying to Asa, I heard about your visit to their mansion 5 years ago. I heard that you were attempting to tarnish their reputation. That upset me. I immediately went hunting for damaging intel to expose you for their sake. So okay, Ryu didn't obviously go with Asa right away of just being like, oh, this guy is awesome, I'm gonna join him. No. The Ryu from 5 years ago noticed like, yeah, this guy has come, tried to ruin the reputation of the Yozakura family. Yeah, I'm going to find out stuff about them. This is where he got in contact with Mozu. She didn't run or hide. She looked me in the eyes and told me, told Ryu straight that Takumi can be brought back to life. So yeah, he's obviously doing this because it's like he obviously still feels the guilt. It's like even though Katana's being saying like, no, you are my dad. You've always been my dad. You always will be my dad. Takumi may have birthed me, but in terms of being someone who's been there for me and supporting me in everything I've done, you're my dad, Ryu. But Ryu just can't seem to let go of that guilt, and it's just like, if there's any way I can bring Takumi back and make up for my mistakes, this would be it. But at the same time, it's probably going to be a case of like, yeah, Takumi will probably be brought back to life, but will be severely disappointed in Ryu, because Takumi sacrificed everything in order to not only help Ryu but also give Katana the life that he probably couldn't give her at that point when his life was in danger, and basically he's dead. So it's probably not only disrespect for him for tampering with the laws of nature, but also disrespect for Katana, because like I've said, like everyone's been saying, she's always viewed Ryu as a daddy. But at the same time, Ryu again feels like, yeah, my guilt, and I need to do this, because if I don't do this, I probably won't get any closure on this matter. As he goes on and says, I'm still not sure I believe it is something like that really possible. So yeah, even though he's going along with it, he's not really feeling it. Like, yeah, I can't see someone coming back from the dead, but if it really is possible, please tell me. And Asa basically just straight up says that, yeah, it is possible. Dr. Mozu is an excellent scientist. She constantly puts more effort into research potentials uses for the Yozakura power than even I do. This is a tear for my daughter Sabumi, and I could just imagine what Ryu is probably going to think when he realizes the horrors that Asa did to Sabumi. So as Asa drops the tear in Ryu's curry, we see it actually start to mold and regenerate back into what it would call its original object. As Asa explains, though charged at the molecular level due to the extreme heat, this tear works on the potato-based genomes, and we've only succeeded with sample life forms like plants so far, which helps explain why Momo considered his brothers and sisters somewhat is the plants that he was using, or genetic mutations, brothers and sisters, because it would only be a sample life form. And he goes on and says, but with enough research, it will eventually be possible in humans as well. So basically, Asa's trying to resurrect the dead. He's trying to do a Yamamoto from Bleach, only on a much more horrific scale. As he goes on and says, the ceremony footage your voluntarily sent to me as a sign of your cooperation with splendid True Spring blooming her. That white gleam is an unmistakable sign that his Yozakura blood is at its peak. Potential. So basically, Ryu offered them the sample of like, oh, this is a True Spring blooming. They're obviously ripe. They're obviously all ready to go. So now we can do the harvesting, which I'm a little bit worried right now, because we're in the final stages of the story. Like, if we're gonna set a new bar for horrific actions, now's the time to do it to some of these Yozakura family members. But I like all of them in their own unique way, and I wouldn't want to see anything bad to happen to them. But at the same time, this is giving me vibes of something bad is gonna happen to them. As he goes on and says, the delicate fruits of the Yozakura will be plucked, but it must be done gently. To do that, the more people we have on our side who know them well, like you, the better. Oh my god. Is Kai gonna turn traitor as well? Are all the gold rank spies gonna turn traitor? Are we essentially getting the Zodiacs that everyone's been theorizing before? We have Asa and oh my god, I've got to remember these names now. Yo, Kazu, Ni, and I'll commit the names to memory. And Mitsu. We see all of them in silhouettes. We see all of them in silhouettes, but we don't see Asa or Ryu in silhouettes, as Asa announces the harvesting will begin. And we see Ryu's reaction, but we don't get a clear indication of what it's actually referring to. Before we cut back to the Yozakura family itself, as we have Mitsubi saying like, Ryu did what? So this is immediately after Mozu said like, oh yeah, Ryu joined of his own accord, as she goes on and says, hee, you poor guys, you fought so hard to bring him around, but he just betray you. As we have Shinso saying to no, it's okay, and Katana agreeing with them. She goes on and says, resurrection, huh? Papa Ryu's not a weak man. He'd never cling to anything like that. And this is where Shinso probably theorized, like, yeah, he must have another plan going. So maybe Ryu is doing like a double agent here, like he's trying to undermine everyone so that he can be like, oh, I'm going to be on this side because it's going to win, or we're going to be on this side because it's going to win. Yeah, we can't, but it just seemed like he's going triple cross, double cross, triple cross. We don't know what's going on with Ryu, but it just, from what they're saying here and what they know about Ryu, yeah, it seems like, yeah, there's another scheme that he's got as a backup here. So like, he's going along with it, but at the same time, he's got something else going on in the back of his mind. As we have creatures saying like, oh, no, can you contain Mozu right now? If he's begun to move, all the better for us. Movement just makes him easier to find. So it's basically like, yeah, we're not going to let the enemy come to us. We're going to go to the enemy, as Asa isn't hunting us. The time has come for us to hunt him, as we have all what seems to be like the major players in this final battle going on, and we get the caption, and so the strangest wedding came to a close and the curtain rose on a whole new battle, and that's where the chapter ends. So, oh my god, okay, we finally get the subordinates of Asa that are going to be the major battle opponents for the Yozakura family for this final battle. And now obviously I predict that Asa and Koricho and Tayo are going to be like the final battle, because Koricho has always been involved majorly in the final battles with the main villains alongside Tayo. He was involved in the final battle with Momo, the final battle with Kawashita, and now it's going to obviously be involved in the final battle with Asa, because Asa is clearly going to be the strongest out of all of them, and it will need the combined effort of Tayo and Koricho to bring it out, because literally Asa walked into the room and just basically negated Koricho's blooming. So yeah, Koricho has obviously been training his ass off to be like, okay, what was the cause of that negation? How can I prevent that from happening? Now, yeah, even though the curtain has rose on this new battle, I feel like we're still going to get a few more slice of life chapters, basically everyone preparing, beefing themselves up and being like, okay, now we go and take them head on. Or we might get mini battles before then so that we can get a grasp of what Asa's subordinates have, what uh, Mitsu, Kazu, Yo, and Ni, what they all can do before we actually get into the major final battles, like what their powers are going to be, whether they have bloomings themselves. Because even though the blooming is a direct link from generation to generation from Tsubumi, because Tsubumi was born from Asa, he might have been able to replicate the blooming from his own blood. So they might have potential bloomings themselves from based on Asa's blood, or based on a combination of Asa's blood and Subumi's blood, because we don't know who Subumi's mother was. That's the big thing that's bugging me right now. Who was Subumi's mother? What was she like? What happened to her? That's basically what I want to know. I mean, obviously it comes from like a group of they come from a group of ninjas back in the day, but I really want to know what Subumi's mother was like, and whether or not it was like a mixture of her blood, Subumi's blood, and Asa's blood, that Asa was maybe possibly be able to replicate the blooming, unless they are direct descendants from the Yozakura, from like the other Yozakura heads. They still have bloomings based on the other Yozakura heads. That's still a possibility, and we still might be able to get the Yozakura heads back based on what Moses said about the whole resurrection thing, about being able to bring humans back to life, because they're basically saying this chapter, yeah, we're working on bringing humans back to life. So maybe they'll bring back Takumi to fight the Yozakuras, and obviously bring back the Yozakura heads themselves if they are deceased, or if they're just zombie-like figures. Like, there's just so much to analyze and discuss this. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.